Good morning, it's coffee, color, and conversation Wednesday.
If I showed you my flaws, if I couldn't be strong, tell me honestly, would you still love me the same?
Good morning, today is Wednesday and it is coffee, coloring, and conversation. For today's conversation, I want to touch on toxic parents that you have. Even as a grown adult, you still having to deal with that. So, it's a little background into why I'm having this conversation. So, my husband has been driving my brother back and forth to work for probably over a year because he unfortunately is not able to get a driver's license, or just my father refuses to let my older brother, he is my older brother, to get a driver's license. So yesterday was Tuesday. So Monday night, we had literally forgot to pick my brother up from work. Or for work. Not from work, for work. Correct. And, so I get a text message from my mother saying, "Oh my God, how could you guys forget Tony? Your dad is screaming and hollering and making all this fuss over the fact that we forgot my brother." Okay. When my husband had looked at his phone, it was like 15 after 10. And by then he'd seen 2 messages from my brother. My brother did not bother calling his phone. He did not bother calling my phone, which I'm like, that's odd, because normally if he doesn't get a hold of my husband, he does call my phone and be like, "Hey, what's going on? He's not here yet. Can you get a hold of him?" Which normally I do, to make sure he's getting to my brother. And he tells my father, my brother tells my father, that he called my husband's phone 3 times, which is a lie. Never called his phone. So I was sitting right there next to him. And
inside this hotel.
By the time my husband had seen it, he told him he would take him to work, but my brother had already called off work by 10:15. Instead of just being 15-20 minutes late for work, he just called off. But the worst part about the whole situation is that he lied to my dad, and he made it seem like he made an actual effort to contact us to get a ride, and in all reality, he did not make an effort. So now, my father, who is a very, very toxic person, like, the man needs major therapy and chooses not to get it. He'd rather make everybody's life around him completely miserable. He does not know how to talk to his children, let alone, let alone his older grandchildren. I'm not talking about the 3 younger ones, I'm talking about the 3 older grandchildren that he has. Or even around the kids, the grandchildren, on how he talks to his children and his wife. It's horrible. But the worst part about the whole situation is when he is calm and things are not as crazy. He doesn't remember what he says. How do you live with that? How do you deal with that? How do you deal with the fact that somebody that's a significant factor in your life can say these very mean, very nasty words when they're angry, and then be like, I never said that. But he does. And it seems like more and more that he really doesn't care on things. I have a couple times I've come to him and I'm like, I understand so and so did something, but can we not react the way you do in front of my son Jackson? Because Jackson tells me everything he does towards my brother or my sister. Jackson tells me what he says, he tells me. And then the fact that I would try to address it with my father, it just starts a war. And it's like, what do you do? How do you try to tell someone that what they're saying is affecting the people around him? Like, how do you tell that person, hey, there is something wrong with you? You need to go freaking see somebody. Because what you're saying, what you're doing, your actions are affecting your children, your wife, your grandchildren, people around you. You are affecting the people around you that they don't want to be around. It's hard. It's hard because it's something I've dealt with for a very long time. I remember being a teenager and just walking on eggshells around my father, me and my brothers. And because you just don't want to make him mad.
I was scared of dentists in the dark. I was scared of pretty girls and starting conversations.
Even now, when he's pissed off or that angry, I don't want to add fuel to the fire.
To the sorrow when the buzz ends by tomorrow.
I don't want to.
There's another rush of poison flowing into my veins, giving me a dose of pleasure that resides by the pain. I'm addicted, I'm dependent, looking awesome, feeling helpless, and I know I'm raising Cain by every highway in hell. Maybe things won't be so terrible inside this hotel.
And even people that know him don't truly know him as a person. Because they've never lived with him. They've never experienced what we have went through for many years. What happens is iconic. She takes a sip. This one time, when my daughter was 3, my daughter who was 13 now, Lil, she was playing next to my father one day, and she was playing with a Barbie doll, and because they didn't have Ken dolls at the time, she used my son's wrestler, and she starts yelling at Barbie. The Ken doll actually started yelling at her and was saying some really mean, nasty things to Barbie. And my father asked her, Lily, where did you hear that from? And she was honest because she's always been an honest child. And she told him, Grandpa, that's how you talk to mommy and grandma. So for one time in his life, he was confronted with his own actions. And I think at that point he did go to therapy for a while. A good couple years until welfare started saying, my mom made too much money and that my dad needed to be put on Social Security, but Social Security is like, well, he's got this, and that. There's nothing we can do about it, which, of course, is not true. The man needs to be on Social Security. He doesn't work. He has major health problems, like major health problems. And I think it takes a toll on my mother. It took a toll on me once upon a time when I actually lived there. It's not easy. He's gotten better over time because, we helped to get him better. But if he gets worse again, I don't know what my mom is gonna be able to do because my sister, my little sister is now 19. She don't want to live there too much longer. My son, who's 18,
poison flowing into my veins, giving me a dose of pleasure that resides by the pain. I'm addicted, I'm dependent, looking awesome, feeling helpless, and I know I'm raising Cain by every highway in hell. Maybe things won't be so terrible inside this hotel.
So I plan on staying in Parma for my mother. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to do that. Why not? Well, do you know how to merge the two together? Well, I guess this is going to be a part 2 of this because my husband called, which stopped the first recording, is my daughter has to go to school, so he's picking her up. So Lillian, my lovely 13-year-old, who is this magnificent editor. She does the edits my videos for me. And yeah, because I don't know how to do it myself. That's the problem, because I don't know how to do it myself. So I have my daughter. I give great props to her. She's amazing. I hope she actually pursues this when she goes starts back to school next year. Because she's amazing. She's an amazing editor, in my opinion. Alright. Part 2. It is part 2 for today.
Trying to redo Wizard of Oz.
I heard. I said that's stupid.
You guys have to tell them how to do it. In Wizard of Oz,
right. That's like them trying to redo E.T.
yeah.
So stupid. Okay, so back to my dad getting the help he needed for a while until welfare interfered. I'd say it was a good 4 years, maybe a little longer than that, maybe about 5 or 6 years, because both of the girls were in school when welfare had messed up my parents' medical. And So those were good times. I mean, if we had bye, Lil. No Grizzly. We had normal. It was like, love you, a normal family. You could say. I mean, there wasn't a lot of fighting. There wasn't a lot of arguing. You know, just minor family stuff. We didn't have to walk on eggshells around my dad because he was taking his medication. He, you know, things was good. Things was really good. Then my grandma dies.
I'm addicted to the sorrow when the buzz ends by tomorrow. There's another rush of poison flowing into my veins, giving me a dose of pleasure that resides by the pain. I'm addicted, I'm dependent, looking awesome, feeling helpless, and I know I'm raising Cain by every highway in hell. Maybe things won't be so terrible inside this hotel
we're dealing with now. Come back, hang on one second.
My friends stayed over, we laughed and drank and ordered something about her drew me in. Wait, it's totally platonic. That night was so exciting. Her smirks were so enticing. Hours speed by like seconds. Then what happens is
you know, it was hard again, and conflict would rise between me and my father. I think honestly the most conflict at the time was between me and my dad, and then my little sister when she wanted to be stupid and say some ignorant shit. But Milo, love you. Have a good day at school.
What's the problem?
Dog.
He has a girlfriend.
But I stuck it out, you know. I stayed there at my parents' until I had met my husband. He was a godsend for me. He saved me, even though he doesn't realize it. But I was so not in the best place, and I had gained a lot of weight, especially after I had my son Jackson, because I was just depressed. I was sad. I was dealing with a very bad situation with my dad. I had to deal with my sister's sister. I think at that point my sister Nikki had moved to her fiance's house, which that was great. No, actually I think after I had Jackson, Nikki didn't move for a year. It might be, no. Jackson's 6. I mean, her and Aaron was dating at the time. I don't know. Sometime within like the first year of Jack's life, she moved down there. Which I was so proud of her to make this choice, this huge step. Okay, I'm getting off topic, so hang on. So anyways, I was dealing with a lot. I didn't ever want to be home. I would make an excuse. I started walking the dogs, which helped me to drop a lot of weight at the time. Which that was the good part about it. But then I had also started therapy myself. So having years of shit come off my chest helped me to actually lose my
looking awesome, feeling helpless, and I know I'm raising Cain by every highway in hell. Maybe things won't be so terrible inside this hotel.
Affect me too, because because I felt like I didn't need it, even though I still carried a lot of stuff with me to this day. I still, find myself bringing up stuff with my therapist, that should, affects me to this day. So, I get the whole concept of going to therapy and needing that extra assistance in understanding the choices that you've made in life. So I mean, granted, the whole reason why I went is probably completely different from the one my dad went, but understanding where the anger comes from, or where feeling like you're less than nothing, or just dealing with the loss of a loved one, or maybe even feeling like you lost yourself along the way, I understand that. I understood parts of what he was going through. But then at the same time, I struggled with the fact that as long as I could remember, he was like that. So this is years of mentally dealing with someone who mentally had an issue with himself. But it took me going to therapy to understand that whole concept itself. And maybe him not being happy with himself or dealing with stuff from the past about himself made him a certain way towards all of us, which isn't fair. It's not right. God dang it, Lily, forgot Lily's thing. It's hard. And my mother, my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful mother, deals with this shit all the time. And I don't know how she does. I'm like, you are the strongest person I know, because I wouldn't deal with it. I wouldn't deal with it. I couldn't deal with that. I couldn't deal with it because I've dealt with it my whole life, that as an adult, going into a relationship, to find my significant other having issues like this, I could not handle. I would leave. I would run. Kicking and screaming, I would be gone. Because I had dealt with it already enough, because my father having this whole toxic illness is what it is. It's an illness, we sit here and we talk about, all these illnesses out there, but mental illness is a big thing, and there's so much different types of mental illness. Maybe things won't be so terrible inside this hotel. The man suffers from short-term memory loss. Like, he literally can't remember stuff within 10-15 minutes of it elapsing. That's why it's hard to deal with the fact that he can be angry for this long period of time and then turn around and be like, I didn't say that. Because he doesn't remember. He doesn't remember or realize, like, what he had said. When it's brought up again by the other person, or just brought up. I remember, and this is what's crazy, is my mom still, she feels the same way I do. Said he does not like me. In a way, I feel like he has always hated me, because I have always been the more difficult one of my siblings. I've always been the one that's created hell, I guess, because I was so angry for such a long time because of stuff that had happened, and not ever truly be able to do that. And then finding out later on, when I had my oldest son tested for ADHD, that, hey, I have it too. And then I look back after reading like this questionnaire and be like, why didn't my parents pick up on that? Maybe my life could have been a different outcome if they had paid attention to me just a little bit longer, in the sense of that I needed them to be. So it's like, what do you do? You know? This mental illness that's affected him, can this affect you? Which honestly, since I've gotten therapy, I'm not as angry as much. I'm very more able to watch what I say, even to my kids, about myself. But there is times for when I'm just like a full-on crazy person myself. But then once I calm down, I apologize to my kids. But I've asked them like plenty of times, being a mother and the kids not wanting to listen to anything you fucking say, until you like wig the hell out on them. I always apologize for that, because I don't like to see that person. Because I've seen that person my whole life. And my father. The only difference is he always wigged out first. And I calmly asked the kids at least 8 times usually before I wig out. To clean up, do schoolwork, stay off the phone, eat your food, put stuff away.
Maybe things won't be so terrible inside this hotel.
All that fun stuff. And like what's crazy about it is, yes, there is more of a distraction for children these days. Yes, me as their mother am the one that have gotten these distractions. Technically, no. They have aunts and uncles, and they're usually the reason for some of these distractions. But it is me as the parent who let them have it. Then you're like, well, then it's your fault that they're that way. It's technically, yes, it is. I'm not gonna say it ain't, but at the same time, it's like, how hard is it to listen? To just do what you're asked. See, the thing is, when I was a child, we did what we were asked. And I don't want to be like my parents. I didn't want that. I took parenting classes to help me to control my words and to control my angry monster, which, once again, therapy, big help. But it's just, it's hard, it's hard, because at the same time, how do you address things with your kids? How do you address mental illness to a 6-year-old? How do you explain to them that Grandpa doesn't always mean what he says when he says it when he's angry, because he mentally is unable to comprehend what he says sometimes? Like, how do you explain something like that to a 6-year-old? You don't. It's hard. It's hard. I have a brother who's married, and they have a child, And I feel like because we have dealt with a lot of the mental illness with my dad, that my brother kind of does keep his son away the majority of the time. I mean, Donald's he's a great dad, you know, and I know he's a great husband for my sister-in-law. And he's dealt, you know, like I said, we've dealt with it our whole lives, having to deal with this person who has this mental illness and not knowing completely how to handle a lot of it. I understand why my brother does what he does, you know, I get it. But for 3 years of Jack's life, because his father,
I'm addicted to the sorrow when the buzz ends by tomorrow. There's another rush of poison flowing into my veins, giving me a dose of pleasure that resides by the pain. I'm addicted, I'm dependent, looking awesome, feeling helpless, and I know I'm raising Cain by every highway in hell. Maybe things won't be so terrible inside this hotel.
Night, my friends stayed over. We laughed and drank and ordered something about her drew me in. Why? It's totally platonic. That night was so
I can't
her smirks were
keep
so
Jackson from
enticing.
there visiting and stuff like that.
What happens is iconic.
I'm still being exposed to the negativeness of everything, you know. I know you guys are probably thinking, well, technically you can, but at the same time, is it better to break that child's heart? Here. Or let them go over there.
What's the problem? Dog. He has a girlfriend.
Sorry.
Leave her alone.
His dad is a whole nother story. A whole chunk of my life that I wish sometimes I could get back, but wouldn't have Jackson. Okay. But like I said, I get it. I understand where my brother's coming from. I can understand why he does what he does and makes this choice to not, you know, expose my nephew to his grandpa's toxicity. You know, then at the same time, I feel like he misses out on the fact that he has, you know, cousins. Even though like my son is 18 years old, and my nephew's like 3. So it's like, yeah, he's 3. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's 3. Well, not 4. No. Pretty sure he's 3 though. So it's like, you know, and then the girls are they're older except for Khaleesi. Khaleesi's 2. But, you know, he's really close with Jackson. You know, that's good. That's what you want. You want that family bond, you know? Like, we all had one, you know? I got hella family. I say that, you know, because of my father's mental illness, it kept me from being close to any of them.
To the sorrow when the buzz ends by tomorrow. There's another rush of poison flowing into my veins, giving me a dose of pleasure that resides by the pain. I'm addicted, I'm dependent, looking awesome, feeling helpless, and I know I'm raising Cain by every highway in hell.
My younger
Maybe
sister,
things won't be
she's
so
19,
terrible inside this hotel.
I feel like if she doesn't get back to therapy and getting rid of some of this emotional stuff that she's going through, that she's gonna end up with the same mental illness. Because I can see it already. But what do you say? What's the curse when it comes down to? What do you say? How do you address this? How do you deal with that?
Don't know what to think. He knelt to the ground and pulled out a ring and said, "Marry me, Juliet. You'll never have to be alone. I love you, and that's all I really know."
It's still, people don't want to talk about mental illness and
He has a girlfriend.
the different things, you know, like people they're talking about dementia, they talk about Alzheimer's, but general mental health, you know, there's many things, you know. You have people out here contemplating suicide, and then you look at their life and you're like, well, their life was so good, but internally they suffer, you know. My father has internally dealt with the fact that my mother has been the breadwinner for years because he can't work. So that plays a factor. He says he feels less of a man. A lot of this information comes to light when he started therapy and was on medication and actually talking to us and genuinely apologizing for his actions and being the way he was. And just being around a normal person and knowing, okay, maybe we don't want this person to die anytime soon. That part of mental health, you know, there's depression, there's anxiety, all of this stuff, all these little monsters, voices in our head who can't be quiet, you know. I'm not saying like the man's life was perfect or is perfect or whatever, but it's not like he doesn't get what he wants when he wants it or anything like that, because that's not even the case, because he gets what he wants when he wants,
to the sorrow,
because we don't want to deal with
by tomorrow.
when he's
There's
angry
another rush of
or
poison
worrying
flowing
about
into my veins, giving me a dose of pleasure that resides by the pain. I'm addicted, I'm dependent, looking awesome, feeling helpless, and I know I'm raising Cain by every highway in hell. Maybe things won't be so terrible inside this hotel.
I'm trying to tell you, you know, in general, I'm just saying, I'm wanting to put light on that factor. It's how do you deal with that? Or even if, you know, you have parents out there like that, or brothers or sisters that are close to you, that you have to deal with that, you know. Like, I'm blessed to say that none of my kids are at that point, except I do have my 12-year-old that for a long time, she would say that she is stupid and she's this and she's that. And And I'm just like, dude, where is this coming from? Because nobody here calls you stupid. Nobody here says you're ugly. You're beautiful. Like, I'm positivity towards the kids. That they're not stupid. They're super smart, or they're, super hardworking, and they're doing great jobs, and they're striving to be the best person that they can be. So, some people just have, to deal with that mentalness that don't even know where it came from. And it's hard. That situation it's hard. It really is. I'm running out of coffee here, so. And I'm still working on my picture, of course. So, because when I first started talking, I wasn't coloring because I was talking. The whole point of this is as you're talking and this is a literally form of therapy that I have learned to do. This is why coloring is a good form of therapy, because you're talking and stuff, and you're adding colors or whatever to the picture. You're letting your emotions go or come through, or just calming yourself. This calms me down. This helps me to deal with what I have to deal with on a daily basis, which yesterday I should have did this and I didn't, and I all day was not in the best mood. I was very angry at some points, tired. I was tired, literally tired, because of what I had to deal with yesterday. It made me physically tired. Like, as crazy as that sounds, but I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to that. Like, dealing with some stuff just makes you drained. Like, you're just like, man, it's like, I just want to sleep, and you're like, you can't, because you have a child that's in school, and you have to make sure that they go to school and they do their schoolwork, and have all that stuff done. Or you have a toddler, you gotta take care of and be there for them. But, they're a toddler, they get into everything. You can't sleep on a toddler's time. It's just how it is. And I really should have did this yesterday. I really should have colored yesterday. I really should have took the time to just sit down and just got the coloring done to get it off of my chest, just because after yesterday's whole debacle, and I did try to call my father to explain things. He just wasn't having it. He's like, I don't care, blah, blah, this is an excuse. It was the truth, but of course,
What's the problem? Dog.
I should have done.
He has a girlfriend.
I should have just took a few minutes,
Leave her alone.
Colored until I was able to be okay for the day, But I didn't, because apparently I'm dumb. But then I did talk to my therapist a little bit yesterday, so that was helpful. But I still, I don't know, because I maybe didn't tell her everything. I kind of still was harboring shit and just didn't really get rid of everything like I'm supposed to. Like they say, give it to God. What if God doesn't want the baggage either? I mean, did any of us ever think about that? Given to God. Maybe God don't want our baggage. That's why He gave it to us. Josh, I'm a high believer in God, so don't take this into any account there, guys. Alright, it's getting late. I gotta get Jackson up, and he's gonna be getting out of school soon, so leave a comment. Let me know. Do you have a parent, a sibling, a child with some form of mental illness that you have to deal with? And just how you deal with it. How do you cope with it? As if it's a parent, did they have it when you were younger? Did they have it when you were older? How do you deal with it? Still as an adult, do you feel like some of those traits have come over into you? What do you do to having to deal with that parent? Okay. Like I said, color therapy is a very good help. It's part of why I am doing this channel. This is what I have actually got done since I actually started coloring and stopped talking and not colored. But let me know in the comments, how you're dealing with things.
Feeling helpless,
and you guys have yourself a good Wednesday and great weekend. And if you live in Ohio, bundle up because it's cold. You guys have a good day, and I'm gonna go because I have to get Jack up for school, and I'll talk to you guys next Monday. Bye.
Listen here, I don't like you. I am now going to bark at you. Woof woof, bark bark.
I was scared of dentists and the dark. I was scared of pretty girls and starting conversations. All my friends are turning green. Yeah, the magician's assistant in their dreams.